Well, then I guess whenever I know it's a little different because of obviously the certain circumstances, but we will get started. We are Team 9. Team 9. It is Kyle Allen, Jordan LeCompte, and Edward Quintanilla. We are doing the recreational fishing pond. Why isn't my? There it is. So the project description, this is what we'll be going over today. The overview, the project overview, the literature overview, the standards, the regulations, the similar solutions, the possible vendors, the project uniqueness, our progress, and looking forward. So to start the project overview, our team has been assigned to study the feasibility of adding a recreational fishing and shrimping pond in Waller, Texas, just west of Houston. In Asian countries, recreational fishing in the shrimping industry is very lucrative, so our client is looking to enter the market in a developing area that will be heavily populated in the future. Overseas, recreational fishing ponds are mainly constructed inside of a facility which are either fully indoor or partially covered and located near suburban areas that are close to cities, found city limits in an attempt to accommodate the highest number of potential customers. We have also found that most of the recreational ponds are mainly indoor to better accommodate these customers year-round. The client's goal is to develop an all-season fun and family-friendly fishing experience close to the Houston area, and our team is tasked to determine the feasibility detailing how this operation could be configured to meet all the local resource, marketing, and state and county regulations. So here we have a map showing where we would be recommending this operation. It's in Waller, just west of Houston, less than an hour outside of the city limits. And on the right, we have a picture of a recreational fishing pond in Taipei. So we're going to be basing something, our solution, something like this, shown in the picture here. And then next we'll have Edward going over the literature overview.
Oh, sorry. Well, for the literature, we were just looking at obviously things that what's okay for fishing, such as invasive species that are restricted, good fish farming species that we could use, and just this is just for reference, but we're just looking for referencing on how to design an aquaponic. I mean, just a tank in the middle because I couldn't find anything that was in English for building a tank from what we see in Taiwan.
Howdy, my name is Jordan and I'll do the standards. For the standards on this project, we'll begin with the type of fish or shrimp being used in the pond to recreationally catch. The fish being used will have to fit the standards on the guidelines of the fish stocking set by the Texas Park and Wildlife Department. If the fish are native to the area, if the fish are being stocked or transported from a different state or country and are not native to the area, they will have to follow the standards set by the TPWD, the United States Fish and Wildlife Services, and the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Another aspect that the standards will affect is the discharge of water. When changing or cleaning out the different ponds, they will be subject to the industrial water discharge standards, and they must obtain the correct permit according to the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. Along with the discharge of water, the customers, along with the employees who are using and entering the facility, must follow the CDC guidelines and standards that are placed on the state to limit the spread of COVID-19. The DIY barbecue, which is the do-it-yourself barbecue, along with the food and beverage services aspect of the business, will have to comply with the standards pertaining to the USDA due to the customers either cooking or eating the fish caught from the indoor ponds or buying the food and beverages from the vending machines.
So going into the regulations for an operation such as this, so Texas Parks and Wildlife, like Jordan said, will be the main governing body for regulating a recreational fishing pond. The state of Texas has sanctions in place to ensure resources are not overused, wasted, and are utilized legally and efficiently. There's some regulations to be addressed, which I'm going to go further into detail in. The legal means of transporting and stocking fish, the legal means of fishing and waste disposal. So TPWD is one of the few states, given its size, that doesn't allow cross-county or cross-region species transfer due to how fast and delicate the range of Texas wildlife is. In some cases, we would have to get fish native to the region pre-approved to go into the county where they are headed, so it wouldn't cause a huge disturbance in the ecosystem. We also have to follow strict waste disposal rules. So obviously, with a fishing pond, there is going to be animal waste, and we have to ensure that that animal waste is going to the right places. And so since this problem is magnified, or it's going to be even more important because we're going to be in somewhat of a suburban or urban area, or at least in the future when the Waller area booms more. And so we're following the EPA's guidelines for agriculture and carcass, and the USDA's agricultural waste management handbook. So next, we're going to look into some similar solutions. I found a company in Caddo Mills, Texas, which is northeast Texas. And so they're called Texas Fishing LLC, and they run an operation in Caddo Mills, Texas, and it is regarded as the #1 private fishing pond in Texas. The business model that they have adopted has proven to be lucrative, as their goal was for customer service and fishing to meet. They offer day rates, equipment rentals, bait sales, and fish processing. And so after what we've seen that a company like Texas Fishing LLC can do in Caddo Mills, that is much, much smaller than the area that we are proposing, we think that following their model of equipment rentals, day passes, and fish processing, and their fun, family-friendly atmosphere is a must to bring a great operation to the Houston area. So then we have possible vendors. I did a lot of research trying to find, the one-stop shop for who could do this, and I found Watch Out Ranch. They're actually located here in the Brazos Valley, but do service the entire state of Texas. They're a top-rated farm and ranch construction and pond management company located here in the Brazos Valley. They literally could handle every aspect of what we would need to get this operation going. They design the ponds, they'll build the ponds, they'll test the ponds to make sure they're holding water and are sustainable for life. They'll stock the pond, and then they will help and train managers and help manage the pond going forward in the future. So Watch Out Ranch is also managed by Aggies, that they operate the daily duties and manage the company. And they're, I think, hands down, our best shot to get it done with one company and allow any confusion to be alleviated in that regard.
Uniqueness in the project comes from solving the problem of implementing the Asian indoor fishing model with the client's deliverables to coincide with the local resources, marketing, and county and state regulations. Although there are indoor fishing operations in Texas, many do not have the option of allowing customers to have a do-it-yourself barbecue or also have an entertainment system within the facility. These deliverables for the operation are peculiar because it will have to be modified to follow the FDA, Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, and CDC regulations to protect the operation from legal issues. Indoor fishing structures generally include tanks or ponds for fishing and a place to pay for fishing poles and vending machines. Adding stations for the customers to have do-it-yourself barbecues or entertainment systems will require modifications when determining the size parameters for the facility. A possible company to compare the problem to for this possible solution is the Duck Cove fishing barge located in Quinlan, Texas, which is like an hour north of Dallas. The fishing barge is one of the largest indoor fishing spots in the region where anglers can go to fish for either crappie or catfish. And the fishing barge also has a cafe inside it, which is comparable, so we can look up the size requirements when we're determining the ones for our project, so we can have the right parameters to allow the operation to run successfully.
So lastly, we're going to go over our progress and our next steps. So far, we've gotten our background analysis, which our final draft will be due on Thursday. We're in a good shape to have that taken care of and all buttoned up based off of Dr. Castell's recommendations. And looking forward, we have our second progress report March 9th. That's at 9:45 again. Like to our client, we will be sending another Zoom link out, and hopefully it'll be more normal than this morning was. And looking forward more, we're going to begin our flow analysis. That's our second, or I guess third step of this project. So I guess with that, we'd like to reach out to our client Sean and ask if he has any questions, or Yang or Dr. Castell, and we can get them taken care of. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Right. So this is the end of the progress report.
Yes.
Okay. So let's ask your client if they have some comments, questions.
Yeah, Sean, do you have any questions? I don't know. I might have broken in and out. My electricity and Wi-Fi is kind of spotty here. I said Sean or Dr. Castell or Yang, if y'all have any questions, we'd be more than happy to answer them.
Okay. Well, ask your clients first. And today we have Frank joining us, and Sean is not here.
Oh, I thought Sean was here. I apologize. Frank, do you have any questions for us? I apologize.
Hey, thanks to making this progress for us, and I really appreciate it because the electricity issues that and for the way the issues, the Sean is kind of unable to join it. I just called him and he cannot answer it, so I think he has no power right now, and everything looks good right now for me, and I actually really interesting on the company you are saying that, especially for the one in the car station, they can handle the the fish pond for us if we are going to working on that. But the question is for me right now. So you are looking for the indoor or outdoor? So I'm a little bit confused right now because everything you show is kind of outdoor activities, right? And the what I am kind of interesting is actually indoor. Of course, outdoor also is the target. So I just wonder whether you guys have working on the indoor or not. But the outdoor is good too.
I think we were Edward or Jordan. Feel free to interject, but I think we're looking for. I'm going to say somewhere in the middle, having covered area and outdoor. That way.
Yeah, that was my fault. I was confused. I was looking more for outdoor. I mean indoor, but I guess I should have asked somebody. I just assumed.
I think we're going to go with the indoor and outdoor. That allows us kind of the best of both worlds. We'll be able to have a much larger tank on an outdoor facility. However, having some of it covered will allow fishing year-round. Doesn't matter if it's snowing like it is right now. Doesn't matter if it's raining. That allows the business model to operate at the highest capacity and efficiency, regardless of outside factors such as weather.
That's good. I think I don't have too much questions for this right now because everything looks good for me. And maybe Yang has some issues. Any questions for us? Because maybe you know more than this than me.
Yeah, I will join later. Well, thank you, Frank, for this great feedback. And let's peer team. Let's jump in peer team. Two questions, comments.
One question I have is just kind of, do y'all have any idea of what kind of fish are y'all going to do? Native Texas fish? I don't know if the clients really specified what they want, but I was interested to see if y'all are going to try to do anything that's out of state or.
I'm so sorry. It's just this thing's buzzy. Right now, we're thinking of just doing native fish along with some shrimp that can be mostly farming fish in general that you see in Texas. But I haven't seen. I'm a little nervous about the shrimping, but I'm looking more into that.
And so, who was that? Douglas? Did I say? Or no, that was Dylan.
Yeah,
it's Edward.
So Dylan, really I think the number one driving factor behind our decision of what is going to be stocked is what fits into TPWD's regulations. We touched on it earlier, but TPWD can be a nightmare to deal with, and if they say you can't have a fish, there's no way around it really. So I think we're mainly going to be staying, like Edward said, in the native sector because of what our regulating bodies will allow.
Yeah, and one comment I'd say is your idea about doing kind of indoor outdoor. I think that'll be good for Texas because I think majority of the time, I think most people, if the weather's right, they'd rather fish outside instead of inside. So
Absolutely,
I definitely think the hybrid kind of don't just go indoors because that might turn people off completely, but having the option to do either, I think would be a good.
Right.
All right, 2 more comments or questions from PE team. Riley, Damien, any question or comment?
I'm all good. I kind of joined in a tad late. My Wi-Fi was kind of being weird, but I mean, from what I saw, it's pretty good.
All right. Damien, are you there? Are you there? All right. How about we jump into the instructor section? Dr. Castillo, do you want to go take over?
Yes, thank you. Overall, it's good. I like the look of your slides. Nice, clear, not too much information per slide. I think the distribution of speakers at the beginning was good, but then I think Kyle, you dominated the presentation, so you had to work better at distributing the assignments, right? Oral assignments among the team. Edward, your slide was very important. I like that you highlighted why you were looking at that reference, but I would have liked to see a little more. And you see all these issues with regulations and which kind of fees. A lot of questions were asked just because you didn't provide enough information. So your part was too short, and it's important. And the same thing with you, Jordan, the standards. There's a big challenge that your project has, so that should have been addressed so that we know what's going on, right? And all the issues you're going to be dealing with challenges with regulatory things. So I thought that was a little missing in there. So when you read too much, I'm kind of filling in on Mr. McGee's approach to presentations, commenting on that. So when you go and watch the video, notice that you are reading too much, right? And that can be distracting for the speaker. You have very good slides just using, and when you face the camera, you do very well. So, it caught my attention and so forth. Again, I had the same question about you're focusing outdoors, but your project was for an indoor facility. But I like what Dylan suggests. Look at the hybrid design, because I think you give people a choice to do it indoors and outdoors, and you never know with Texas. So your similar solutions, potential solutions were well set up. Again, I think just the only thing in this team was the distribution of speaking time. You spent 10 minutes, so you had more time to highlight what you have been researching. It is an interesting project that could do very well to the community in Houston, so it has a lot of value. I like your first slide, and you are the only team so far that has used a pointer to highlight the information in your slides. So I thought that was very good. It takes you to the map, and it takes the audience to what you're saying. So I think you have been the only team that has done that. So that was very good. So these are my overall points. Work on improving that for the next presentation.
Yes,
okay, and that's what I had to say, Young.
All right, thank you,
Good
Dr.
job.
Castillo. Thank you, Dr. Castillo. And I totally agree with Dr. Castillo. Like, it's an overall pretty good presentation. I'm very impressed that you can find so much information, even though it's not in your native language. Yeah. And I appreciate your effort to contact us and your client to gathering those information and try to put the best understanding as you can in this progress report. And I also agree with Dr. Castillo. Edward and Jordan, your time is a little bit like on short end, and your slides a little bit vague. So you tell us. Okay, let's start with the team. So, like I said, the presentation itself is pretty good. Quality of the slide is pretty good. It's overall 10 minutes. And Alan, you have about 5 minutes, and Edward is about less than a minute or so. And Jordan about 3 minutes. So maybe you can work on the distribution a little bit more to like spread the content. And I noticed it's a little bit not too severe, but it's a little bit pinpoint at the beginning and in the middle. So maybe one people can focus on more on one section and switch over, and then just rotate instead of ping-ponging back and forth. It's a little bit distract. Uh, Alan, your slides is really good. I mean, a lot of information, and the way you answer the questions is pretty good. You have a lot of confidence, and I like how you look. I mean, I like all of your look in the Zoom meeting, clear background, and a face shot, so we can clearly see you. Edward, your slides is kind of like vague, like Dr. Castillo mentioned. So you tell us about. Can you go to his slides? Literature review.
Yep.
So yeah, here I see a lot of good information. Just from title, I don't know the content, but I assume that you get a lot of knowledge from it to adapt how to adapt this foreign business model into Texas. But here I only see a title and the link of the resource. You really didn't tell me anything about like what's the most important thing in here and what do you get out of it. So maybe you can split into several slides and tell me about like this invasive species of Texas. What does this give you in terms of the knowledge gain for this project, and so on and so forth. And yeah, that's for Edward and Jordan. Can you go to the next slides? Yeah, I have a criticism on this standard slides as well. So yeah, we were all wondering like those standards regulations in Texas or in federal level, if we want to apply this business here. And we will all consider about like how do we select species and how do we manage the water waste, water waste, wastewater, and how do we manage the post-COVID situations. We all consider this, but the question is we don't know like a right direction to find the answers. And you kind of list all our concerns, but you didn't give us like any like direction. And just tell us, hey, maybe I need to look into some acts in CDC rule or in FDA or something like that. So maybe address a little bit more detail, like which direction we should go to, or if you can like help us find which acts or which rule that we need to follow. That will help us a lot. And yeah, and that's for the presentation. And now I'm gonna roll back as a client, client. So my question is, why you choose Water, Texas?
I'll feel free to. You're asking us, right, Young?
Yes.
So I think Waller is a pretty good area because for a few reasons. First of all, it's still pretty rural out there, so we'd be able to acquire the landscape that we would need. In difference to Asian countries that are really limited on how big they can really be. I've seen that most of the Asian recreational fishing ponds are relatively small. Going to somewhere like Waller would allow us to not have such a size constraint. Prices aren't quite yet ridiculous for real estate, so it would still be a reasonable area to fit into the budget. And also, you could see over the last 20 years how much Waller has already developed, and everybody that's from Houston knows that Houston and the city limits are pushing outward. And in, say, another even 10 years, we're not even going to recognize what Waller is today. And so we think we could be on the forefront of development and get in there early before prices are just skyrocketed, and we can kind of get in and get established before. And it's not like we're putting ourselves so far out of the city limits that we wouldn't be able to attract, like have a market in Houston. It's still close enough for a drive out, but it is far enough to see some of those benefits of having the size that we would like and getting into a area that's not fully developed yet.
That's a very good answer. And my next question is, so if you pick Waller, Texas, what will be your targeting population? I mean, targeting like clients, customers over there. I know Woodlands is a pretty good area in North Houston. Most of the Asian people are like populated in South or Southwest Houston, and it's kind of in between. But what is your target customer population over there?
Edward or Jordan, one of y'all want to answer that?
That's a very good question.
Well, mostly we decided to like just focus on the fun part and just like introducing it to obviously more.
You muted yourself. Edward, you muted yourself.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, mostly we just decided to try to introduce it more to new people and just mostly focus on the entertainment part, and because this is just something that, granted, we're doing it a little different, but we're introducing it to like people that would obviously get the concept easily. It's not like basically a cultural thing in the end.
Okay. Well, that's a very good answer. Yeah, I look forward to more analysis on that as well. Lastly, so when you talk about fish stocking,
right,
do we have to like stock the fishes on site, or we can get daily restocking, like just like buying at Walmart or something? Should we build a?
I actually have some experience in the fish stocking process, I suppose. So long story short, like from my experience, we wanted to have a tank that we have stocked. So a company will come out and they'll evaluate the current pond situation. How many fish do you have? What kind of fish do you have? What are the size of the fish? They need to get a preliminary understanding of what's going on in your pond before they'll come and just dump fish in there. And so long story short, they'll do that. And then after they get an understanding of what is going on in your pond, then they will bring fish out. And the kicker is, to be the most economically efficient, you stock with small fish because you're paying by the pound to stock this. So it would probably take a year or two if we wanted to start from all baby fish. But seeing that is a business, we would probably have to incur a slightly higher cost to be putting in bigger fish. That way we could get the operation running more quickly, because time is money. We can't afford to put a bunch of baby fish in and wait 2 years till those fish are grown to size that people would like to catch. To answer your question more specifically, though, you don't stock fish every day. You don't even do it once a month. It's probably more on a basis of every 6 months or every year, and that goes into managing the pond as well. If you're seeing a certain number getting pulled out and killed a lot more than another species, you'd be recording that, or that'd be part of the pond management program that the managers would get trained into. But you'd probably review every 6 months or so, but it'd probably be a safe bet to say that you'd stock once a year, and it just really depends on how much fishing actually occurred in that pond for the year.
Okay, that's a very good answer. I gain a lot of knowledge from that. All right, and I think that's all my criticize for today. And again, this is a really good presentation for the first time, and I'm looking forward to more analysis on like individual items for Fenda or for like how the operation should look like and our targeted markets over the area or nearby any area. So yeah, we'll see you on next progress report. Dr. Castell, do you have anything to add?
No, I'm looking forward to the next step of the design.
All right, awesome. Good job, teams. Well, thanks for coming, and
thank you, guys.
I hope you all stay warm, stay safe, and just let us know.
Frank, thank you for your time this morning. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, actually, at midnight. So.
Thank
you. Yeah, he's traveling. He's having a business visit in Taiwan right now, so maybe he can like go to the shrimp pumps and get some image for you to understand a little bit better how it looks like in Taipei. Yeah.
Yeah, I will take some videos for you guys, and then maybe I have sometimes to go out for the outdoor activities for these kind of things. So in Taiwan, we have the outdoor and the indoor as well. So the indoor usually for the shrimp, and the outdoor for different type of fishes. So the shrimp pumps is nearby for our house, our home, so I can very easy to go to there. But the outdoor activity is usually on the south part of the Taiwan, and that is little bit far away from my home, so I'm not sure whether I can take a video for that or not, but if I can, I will do that for you.
Awesome, that would be great. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, thank you everybody. So
thank you.
You're dismissed, and we'll see you next time.